This review will cover the case of John List. In 1971, he was living in New Jersey and was unemployed and in financial trouble, and he was a devoutly religious man. He felt his family was deviating from the path of the Lutheran Church, which he identified with, and he killed his whole family. He absconded from New Jersey, and his car was found in an airport a couple of days later, and he went on the run for years. And despite a massive search with help from different law enforcement agencies, he could not be located. And let me get a little background about this on the screen here. One moment, please.
In the quiet, affluent town of Westfield, New Jersey, John List was a 46-year-old accountant. He and his wife, Helen, had been married for almost 20 years. They had 3 children, 16-year-old Patricia, 15-year-old John, and 13-year-old Freddie. John List's elderly mother, Alma, also lived with the family in her own separate apartment on the 3rd floor. The List children attended local schools and were all active and popular. John List was a devout Lutheran and taught Sunday school. In the fall of 1971, the List house stood empty. The family was away visiting a sick relative. But when a month went by with no signs of activity, neighbors grew suspicious and decided to call the police.
They felt that something was wrong.
And just prior to leaving, John List wrote letters to the schools of his kids saying that they were visiting a sick relative, and whereas in reality they had unfortunately a victim of homicides and actually was still in the house. Let me get a little more information about this on the screen here. One moment, please.
Found List's abandoned car in a parking lot at JFK Airport in New York. The date on the parking voucher was November 10th, but there was no evidence List had taken a flight. But police knew wherever List was, he had a 1-month head start. The manhunt for a mass murderer had begun. Police issued a nationwide murder warrant for the arrest of John Emil List. He was wanted for the murder of his entire family.
As you can see, it was quite a search. FBI offices were notified across the country. His picture hung in post offices, but they had it was to no avail. They never could locate him. And let me get a little more information about this on the screen here. And one moment, please.
His most wanted has led to the capture of some of the FBI's most celebrated fugitives by generating phone tips from viewers.
One night watching TV, we watched America's Most Wanted, and I thought this might be a very interesting case for them to take on.
If we were successful in getting...
And they were able to profile the John List case on America's Most Wanted, and let me get a little more information about that on the screen here. One moment, please.
That he was an accountant and a Lutheran, and that he had a scar behind his ear, and that he was well put together and a classy dresser. And by the time they got to the sculpture, I was convinced it was him.
To look at it, you would have known.
And the clincher for me was the glasses and the jowls.
We said, oh my God, that's Bob, Bob Clark.
Bob is John List. We've got to call.
Wanda Flannery told the FBI that her former neighbor recently moved to Richmond, Virginia, and was using the name Bob Clark. The FBI closed in, and agents arrested Robert Peter Clark at the accounting office where he worked in Richmond.
And they were able to arrest him in Virginia, where he had moved to. And let me get the bust on the screen. There's the bust that was made by America's Most Wanted, and it looked just like him. One moment, please.
The picture of John List, when he was captured, was put next to the picture of that bust on the front page of the New York Times. John List had the same exact glasses on that Frank Bender had put on the forensic bust. It was uncanny.
Yeah, America's Most Wanted didn't have any recent pictures of him, so they did a bust, and that's the center one picture there, and the old one's on the left, and that's how John List looked like on the right when he was captured. So the bust really helped out, and that's something America's Most Wanted did. And let me get a little more information about this on the screen. Here's some Here's clips of the trial. One moment, please.
when he did it. At John List's trial, the story unfolded of how the mild-mannered church-going accountant meticulously planned the brutal execution of his entire family. List had lost his job, buckling under the strain of mounting bills and the perceived moral decay of his family. John List made a decision.
He decided he wanted to do this, and this was the only way out. This was the way for him to start with a clean slate, and that's why he did it.
After the children left for school,
And that's a little more background about the actual shootings. And let me see if I can get anything else on here. I think that should do it. And
years after the brutal murder of his entire family, a jury found John List guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced him to life in prison.
John Emil List will be eternally synonymous with concepts of selfishness, horror, and evil. He is a man who could coldly, calculatingly, and cunningly conceive and carry out a cowardly plan to assassinate each of his 3 children.
And that's a little more background on how the trial progressed. And I guess that should do it. If you've heard about this case before, hopefully it's a quick flashback. If you're hearing about it for the first time, hopefully I was able to get enough information on here for a quick and informative review. And let me get a final screen on here. One moment, please. Let's see if I get a final... one moment.
Then detectives had an idea.
Tonight, on America's Most Wanted.
The television
See if I get that bust on there. That bust really helped out. Here was what brought him down, right here.
face with the downturned mouth.
And that's what brought him in. And that'll be the final screen. Let me get this.